Hello, everyone. This is Patricia Bebia, writer, director, and producer of the Life Coach film, which is coming to the US in August. Guess what? You're tuned in to According to Portia.
Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Portia Monique, and today on According to Portia, we are speaking with Patricia Bebia, media executive, award winning filmmaker, and transformational speaker, who's redefining what it means to heal, lead, and create from the director's chair. Now, let's dive into this powerful vision behind her global film movement. Welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you, Portia.
Absolutely. So I always like to get started with our interviews, getting to know the person a little better, right? So if you can briefly walk me through your journey into becoming a director, right? So what did that look like? And did you always want to be a director?
Wow, that's a good question. Did I always want to be a director? No. So it's interesting how I got into the media space. So I was born and raised in Nigeria, and my journey started with me wanting to become a nun. So I was in the nunnery at some point for 3 years. And then I left the nunnery and went to a regular school. And so I had wanted to become a lawyer, and I was on that trajectory. And so one day I remember I was moderating a play in church, and the gentleman walked up to me and said, "You speak well. Would you like to audition for a TV show?" I said I
Mhm.
was just a first year university student, and he said, "Don't worry, it's going to be on weekends." So at that time, I was just writing plays, and my friends and I would kind of, put up this play in church. So
Mhm.
I went for this audition and I got the job. So while I was in university, I was 19 years old. I
Wow.
started to host a weekly talk show. And after that, I began to, host other shows on other channels. And at some point, I was in the largest city in my country, in Nigeria, with over, I think, 20 million people, and I'm hosting a daily talk show there. And I remember previously, a few years before then, I was watching Satellite and I saw Oprah show, and it was my first time. And I did say, I want to do that someday. And I kind of said it aloud. It was
Yes.
embarrassing because there were people there and they looked at me. I'm like, oh, this was supposed to be like me talking to myself in my heart. But
Right.
when I look back at my life now, I have done almost everything that Oprah has done. I've hosted a daily
Wow.
talk show. I've launched a 24-hour TV channel. I've published a few magazines. And now I'm making my own movies. I did a drama series previously. So it's a short version of how I got here.
Yes. It's so heartwarming to hear, especially how you manifested it unintentionally, but you still said it out loud and it came to fruition. Here we are
Yeah.
today, all of the experiences that you had. So that just goes to show speak that thing as though it
Yes.
were, and then it will become. So,
Amen. And amen to the billionaire too.
and
That's the one
exactly.
thing that's still remaining, right? From the Oprah angle.
Hey, hey, yeah, we want to be a billionaire too. So we both mentioning that thing together. We putting it out in the universe.
Amen. Amen to that.
Amen. Amen. Now, you briefly mentioned that you are now a director, right? So let's talk about that. Is this your directorial debut with The Life Coach?
I would say so because even though I was involved with writing, producing, and directing a drama
Mhm.
series for our channel, Afro Global Television, this is my first feature film. So this is the first feature that
Wonderful.
I'm directing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite an amazing experience.
Well, congratulations. But
Thank
we
you.
do know that this film tackles emotional healing and mental health head on. Why was now the right time to bring this story to US theaters? And what do you hope American audiences will take away from it?
Yeah, this film is not just an ordinary movie, even though it's entertaining and it brings out all the emotions that you want from a good movie. It has won 13 awards, by the way. It just won its 13th award last week from the California Women Film
Congratulations.
Festival. It's won in Paris, in London, Milan, India, everywhere, even in Canada. But it's a film that is actually going to meet everyone. It kind of locates you. Whatever you're going through, it's interesting. People have walked up to me and said, when I watched this film, this is what it actually did to me. This is the message I got from it. And I'm like, this is not the message that I was thinking when I wrote the film.
Right.
But this film is partly, my personal story. Some of it is my dad's story. It's actually about a man who has a public persona that's perfect. He's a
Mm-hmm.
celebrity, he's a
Mm-hmm.
renowned speaker, doing so well, but dealing with his personal struggles, which is hiding from the world. And never before have we been in an era where authenticity is so lacking, where people prefer to suffer in silence because they're afraid to really come out and be who they really are, or to
Yeah.
portray that real self because they don't want to be judged, or they want to, just look perfect. So these are the days where, everything is airbrushed and everything is presented in a way that's palatable. So I felt that this is the moment when we need to, um, you know, uh, kind of be confronted with a story that allows us not just to heal from the wounds of our past, but to
Mm-hmm.
confront who are our authentic selves and pursue
Yeah.
a journey of self-discovery and healing and connection with other people, because there can be no true connection without self-discovery.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And speaking of self-discovery, your film resonates so deeply with high-functioning individuals, particularly in Black and immigrant communities. How do you shape that narrative with both compassion and precision?
When you tell a story like this, you cannot overlook the historical disadvantage that, especially the Black community worldwide, has faced, be it colonialism, racism, slavery, and all those historical shackles that we still carry in some way as a
Yeah.
burden on our shoulders.
Mm.
So this film talks about, childhood trauma, which is actually now inflicting the current life of a man that is seen by the whole world as successful. So when you tell a story like this, there has to be redemption, because nobody just shows up bad. We were
Yeah.
all born good. If
Yeah.
I must borrow from the scriptures, it says when God, you know, created everything, he saw that it was good. So nobody
Yeah.
was born bad. So
Right.
things things happen and people become.
Mm-hmm.
So in becoming, all the things that have happened in your life, in your parents' life, in your grandparents' life, come to play in your life. So you're not just a product of your birth, you're a product of your past, you're a product of your
Yeah.
history, you're a
Yeah.
product of your ancestry. And
Mm-hmm.
when you watch this film, you see even the fact that the guy was dealing with his trauma, childhood trauma as an adult, was because his father was a wounded man. As a result of that, he abused him. So you see that generational effect of
Yeah.
trauma, of pain, of
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, anguish that continues to follow us. And as a Black community, Black global community, we face that. We face
Mm-hmm.
fractured communities, fractured families, because we still have wounds from our past that still haunt us. So
Yeah.
the story is well rounded because it not only shows you what the character is dealing with, but shows you how they're affected by all these factors that I mentioned, and
Yeah.
also makes you know that no matter what you're going through, it is possible to forgive, it is possible to heal, it is possible to have authentic human connections that
Yeah.
is necessary for us to be whole. And the
Mhm.
main message, the main tagline that we has become like a hashtag for this film is "Keep Sailing Always," which we
Yeah.
abbreviated to KSA. And keep sailing always is saying it doesn't matter where you've been, what you've been through, you actually can still be whole if you're actually on the journey to being whole. It is a journey. We're never completely whole, but it's a journey. Once you're on that journey, you're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I want to stay here in the same vein of the mental health, culture, and community aspect. What role does film play in shaping the cultural attitudes towards therapy, vulnerability, emotional trauma?
Wow, that's a very great question, Portia. I, like my mentor, Oprah, believe in responsible. Yeah, it's true. I actually watch how she, uses the media as a form for transformation, and I love
Yeah.
that. That's what I
Yeah.
do too.
Hmm.
Everything that I do, using a 24-hour TV channel, the shows that I've posted, the documentaries that I've produced, is to actually bring about societal change
Yeah.
using the media as a platform.
Yeah.
And I believe that as the media, we have a responsibility, a very serious and important job, to ensure that we are actually shaping the narrative,
Yeah.
when it comes to, people, what they believe, how society thinks and all that. Because there's never been a movement in the history of the world that has succeeded without the media. If you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
be it
Mm-hmm.
the civil rights movement, any
Right.
movement at all,
No,
just
you're
think
absolutely
about it. The
right. Yeah.
media, yes, is always at the forefront. And
Mm-hmm.
because the media is almost like, charting the social consciousness of society.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes to something as serious as mental health, that has become, I think, an epidemic in today's world, especially after COVID. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, are dealing with a lot of things. And even today, if you turn on TV, like this past week, for instance, about, five people that I know passed away. And
Mm-hmm.
you turn on the TV, you hear bad news, you look around, you just, like there's just so much going on. You hear of Ukraine, you hear of things happening in the Middle East and all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be sane. It's hard not to be depressed.
Yeah.
So it's a very great moment for us as the to tell
Mm-hmm.
stories that will elicit healing and
Yeah.
people to connect with something bigger
Mm-hmm.
than the struggles that they go through.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing. But I do want to go back just a tinge and give you some accolades for saying my mentor, Oprah. Okay. You better
By
claim
the way,
that thing.
I met her twice 2 years ago in Toronto.
Good.
So that was, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And speaking of meeting Oprah and her being your mentor, of course, we all know that Oprah has built one of the largest Black-owned media platforms in the world, but you have also built one of the largest Black-owned media platforms in Canada, and now you're reshaping narratives in film. What drives your commitment to telling these nuanced, transformative?
Wow, Portia, that is such a great question. As people of African descent, our image and our brand has been tainted by the media. When
Yeah,
you turn on TV, you see that, you see most of the things about us as a people is negative.
yeah,
You turn on the TV, it's either there's war here, or poverty, or crime. And that is not all
yeah.
about us.
Hmm.
There are a lot of great things about us. Even if you look at the continent of Africa, every time I see a story, it's always laden with something negative. But
Hmm.
that's not the whole story. Like
Hmm.
every society, even in Canada or the US or the UK, we have negative and the positive, but there's an appetite for
Hmm.
showcasing the worst of us. And
Yeah.
so when I came to Canada, in 2000, I noticed that most of what was shown on TV about our people was negative, and that
Hmm.
touched me. And I thought, I could do something to showcase the positive. And that's why on our channel, even on the show that I've hosted for 23 years now, we never show war, poverty,
Yeah.
crime. No, we
I love
always
it.
show the positive because we feel like the mainstream media is doing enough.
Yeah.
So I believe that, as a person of color, as person of African descent with a platform, my goal is to showcase the best and to showcase stories and narratives that will inspire us to aspire for greater levels of success, to aspire for greater versions of ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's what stands out in the work that I do, and that's
Hmm.
what's critical. That's what drives me.
Yeah.
I can do anything, to the positive side of us, because I know that what the world has an appetite for is it that the producers choose to showcase, is usually negative. And I must say that every storyteller has an agenda.
Yes, absolutely.
When I
And
was writing my film, in the back of my mind, I may not be conscious of my agenda, but who I am as a person, who I stand for, what I believe is my agenda.
yeah.
So when you are a storyteller and have a platform, I believe my son, he's also interested in the media. The other day, he told me something he saw. He said, creativity without responsibility leads to chaos. And I said, yeah, you're damn right. If you're creative and you don't use, and you have a platform and you don't use it responsibly, You're causing a lot of trouble in the world.
You know what? Create say it again. Creativity without
Creativity
responsibility
without responsibility, yeah,
leads to
leads to
chaos.
chaos.
Look at some of our leaders in media who didn't have the discipline to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that
Yeah.
resonates so much. And you said my little son. When you said my little son, I'm thinking, okay, 5, maybe 10, but okay. I
Yeah, told me that. I'm like, wow, that's exactly
that is
correct.
exactly
Mhm.
profound. Now, I do want to talk about your accolades, right? So earlier you talked about you guys have won at least 13 international awards across London, Paris, Toronto, New York, Cannes. What does that global recognition reveal to you about the universality of your message?
Wow. You know, what this shows is that, we all want the same things. We all feel pain. We all want to succeed. We
Yeah.
all want to be happy. We all want peace. We all want love. We all want the same things.
Yeah.
And so this film has a black lead. It's a very diverse film because it has people of other cultures, but it has a black lead.
Mhm.
And when I made this film, I didn't expect it to resonate this way with people. But what this shows is that the message of the film is not only a message that's relevant in today's world, but it's a message that is universal. And the fact that people all over the world, even people of, I mean, different cultures, all the way up to India,
Mhm.
are resonating with this film. We've been to 16 festivals. To even be selected for one festival is a big deal.
Yeah.
But to go to 16 festivals and win 13 awards, including Audience Choice Awards, it's
Mhm.
just so gratifying, and it just makes me feel that it is time for us as
Yeah.
storytellers to dig deeper
Yeah.
and tell stories that really matter. Because when you boil it down at the end of the day, what matters is what matters.
I don't know why I just got chills, but that was profound as well. What matters is what matters. And you being authentic to who you are, being a good person, wanting to showcase excellence, wanting to showcase the best, that says so much about you. And we need more of that in media, especially Black media. Now, as I am ramping this interview down, you're going to have to come back and talk about the process of getting into these film festivals and how it was that you decided to do your own film and et cetera, et cetera. We talked to you all day. But I do want to end this interview with this last question in terms of giving advice to aspiring Black women filmmakers. What would you say to them as they are attempting to break into this space today?
Wow. When I look back at my journey, one thing I would say is do not doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. I remember when I had to sat down with the editor to edit this film, and a lot of things. This was my first film. I was like, it's my first film. What do you think? What do you think? Everybody kept saying, but you're the director. You're the
Yeah.
director. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I had to pull myself back and
Yes.
say, okay, everybody's telling me you're the director. So they're saying you have to decide what you want. And I decided to dig deep, and I realized that I had all in me. All those things that I thought I couldn't do. I was asking people. I had these things in me, but I didn't believe in myself enough. Even when my film was supposed to go in the theaters, I was thinking, oh, maybe it'll go to the small theater in Canada. But when I began to believe in myself, I said, no, it's going to go to the biggest theater chain in Canada. And I'm not going to rent the theater, they're going to distribute it. And when they said no the first time, I did not take the no. I insisted. And my film went to Cineplex. Cineplex is the largest theater chain in Canada. And I was like, wow. So if you believe it and you stay on it, it can happen. And it did happen. And I sat down here in Canada and I said, I want my film to be in theaters in the US, and I don't want to rent a theater. I want the theater to invest in my movie. And there we are. August, my film is going to be in 5 states, and the theater cinema is investing in my movie. I'm
Yeah.
not paying, I'm not renting a theater. And now I'm saying my film is going to go to Netflix. So believe in yourself. Believe in the authenticity and the strength of your story. Because the truth is, our stories have not been harnessed.
Mhm.
Our stories have not been have even one, like we have a lot to share with the world. The world does not know us at all, because most of the stories that are out there about us are not the whole story, not the entire story, as I said earlier. So we still have a lot. So believe in yourself and do not give up when it's tough. I'm telling you, there were times I cried, I felt like giving up, but I said to myself, you have to keep sailing always. You can't give up. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for help. Find mentors, people that can, lead you in the right direction. Some of the people that I went to ask for help that I
Mhm.
thought will help me did not help me. Because here in Canada, I am a member of a festival called Real
Uh-huh.
World.
Uh-huh.
And I do know a lot of people by virtue of that position in the industry. And when I reached out to some of the people that I expected to help me, they
Mhm.
didn't. And there was a time because I said, if A and B are not helping me, how am I going to make it here? But I put on my socks and I said, you know what? I'm going to knock on more doors and
Mhm.
expand your circle. If the circle does not embrace you, make it wider.
Mm.
Huh? And
Mm.
it is possible. I'm telling you,
Woo!
this film, the film has gone places, is
Yeah,
just because of my determination.
I love it. Yeah.
I ask and I ask again, and I don't take no. I keep going, and I believe that this story is blessing lives, and I wanted to bless more lives, and I just kept going. So, those my three main advice I'll give to anyone out there, any woman.
I love, love,
Mhm.
love so many phenomenal and brilliant jewels. Like I kept getting chills, and to me, that's affirmation that what you're saying is spot on. And I just want to thank you for being who you are. I want to thank you for continuing to push. I want to thank you for continuing to sail always, right?
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being the example that we need and showing us that manifestation is real. You can do it, believing in yourself, and not taking no for an answer. And I'll leave this. I interviewed another phenomenal woman, and one thing that she said to me will resonate with me for the rest of my life, and I continue to quote her. Her name was Tamika Holyfield, and she told me that when times got difficult, she said she didn't scale back. She kept asking and she kept pressing. And she said that's where a lot of people falter because the favor is in the again, the is in the asking again, the doing again, the making sure that you're pushing again. And so we want to thank you for not giving up, for continuing to push, for not taking no for an answer, and being the example that we need you to be. So, thank you for joining us on the director's chair. Really quickly, where can we find you? Follow your story, watch the film, all of that.
Yeah. So the film is coming to theaters in the US. So we're going to LA, Dallas, Atlanta, DMV, New York. So you can go to our website, www.thelifecoachfilm.com, for more information and follow us on social media. Our handles are at The Life Coach Film. You can follow me at Patricia Bebia. And yeah, we'd love to connect. And I'm open to connecting with people, especially women who in the industry who are looking for a way to make it. I mean, with what I went through, I want to help whoever is out there that's going through the same thing that I went through.
I love it. From breaking cultural barriers to healing through storytelling. Thank you, Patricia Bebia, to continue to inspire transformation on and off the screen. And I am Portia Monique. Until next time, keep watching, dreaming, and creating. Take care, guys.